We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Excuse me, good evening everyone, and welcome to the continuing live coverage from the Curling Stadium, Martensville International. My name is Sean Joyce. It is draw 14. We've been here for 4 days, 14 draws, 4 games on the ice tonight, and all 4 of these games have playoff implications. Our game that you're watching with me will be featuring the team of Steve Laycock versus the Japanese squad, skipped by Riku Yanagisawa. We'll go through the playoff possibilities as the evening goes on, but the easiest thing to explain here is that on the men's side, we know the 5 teams that are going to make the playoffs. It will be Colton Plash at 5-0, will go through as the number 1 seed. Mike McEwen, already finished, is at 4-1. He can finish either second or third depending on the results of tonight's action. And then the other 3 playoff teams are on the ice tonight. 2 teams on this feature sheet both alive for the playoffs. Just waiting to determine where they will fall. And Yannick Schwaller playing Cody Hartung. If Schwaller wins, by virtue of his draw to the button score over the course of the week, he would actually finish in second place. If he loses, if I've got everything right, according to the draw to the button scores in front of me, he would fall to 4th. The winner of this game could finish as high as 3rd, could finish 4th, and the loser of this game between Laycock and Yanagisawa is definitely the 5th seed. And that 4th and 5th seeding, that's important, because with 5 teams making the playoffs, the 4th and 5th place team will face off against each other tomorrow morning in the quarterfinal. The other 3 teams get set ahead to the semis. So these 2 teams, if they win, do have a chance to finish 3rd, but they'll be perhaps looking over the shoulder a little bit at the Yannick Schwaller game. If Schwaller wins, these 2 teams will face off tomorrow morning as well in the quarterfinal. The Laycock team throwing the Redstones. Here they have Last Rock in the opening end of play, looking to come around the long center guard. Already sitting one, that's going to come up a little bit short. Bluestone, you can see at the back of the house, does look like it's hanging on for a bite. Kind of rock hanging around back there that could end up getting you a force at the end. For now, a chance to come around the 2 center guards. And at the risk of mispronouncing a lot of names, this is the second, Akira Yamamoto. Was looking to hit and roll actually behind the center guard. He's going to get the hit but roll to the outside edge of the 12-foot. Japanese team is sitting 1 for sure, perhaps 2 if that stone at the back is biting. Steve Laycock going to ignore those 2 blue stones that might be in the rings and go right around those center guards himself. This is the second man, Chris Hike. Sweeping on the left as we view it, the lead, Braden Stewart, with his brush down. Third man, Sean Mitchum, who's been skipping his own team for the last few years. Steve Laycock in the house. This is a new squad this season. Mitchum and Stewart have been playing together for a few years. Of course, Saskatchewan fans probably remember Steve Laycock, Chris Heichert, a number of years ago winning the World Junior titles together. Nice draw by Chris Heichert there, and the Japanese squad going to look to follow that down, sit on the corner of it. Room by the high guard. Got the offside sweeper on there ready to go, trying to get a little extra curl. Would have liked to have gotten to the face of that redstone. Nice weight. Doesn't get the line they were looking for. Comes to rest. Second shot in the 4-foot. Probably a piece of that stone exposed for now. Steve Laycock just asking for the freeze on top of it. Just to get at least to the face here. If you can get sliver to the inside, that would be better. Cycled with a great draw on his first one, looking to a very similar shot here. So a little bit more ice. Staying this one out a little bit farther. Not able to lock the freeze on, but does get good line on that stone, brings it into the 12-foot. Japanese skip looking at whether or not they've got room to come around on the in-turn side. Has to be a little bit concerned because that one blue stone in the 4-foot is half open, and well, if you could get to half of it, you actually might be able to roll all the way across and make the double sit 3. So needs to get another rock in position here. Opting for the in-turn. Corner freeze on shot stone. Third for the Japanese team. So Yoshi Yamaguchi. A little bit of a new squad for the Japanese team as well. 3 of these players did play together last year, according to the information I've got in front of me. The skip and third have swapped positions here. A new player. The new player is Yamamoto at the second stones. And this one coming up just a little bit short as well. So some struggles for both teams with the draw weight here. A couple of draws left short. First indication was to play the double tap on the red. I gotta say I don't love that shot because I think it probably opens up shot rock. So looking to perhaps play a little bit of a tap on the stone at the top of the 12-foot. Maybe move it up on a slight angle and take away any possible run back the Japanese might have on the blue stone they just delivered. If he could roll over a few inches, actually, he'd have his shooter available to run in himself. Could get a couple of things here. Sean Meacham with the attempt. They just settle don't know if this was a plan A or plan B. Maybe a little strong for either. He gets a little tap on the blue stone, puts it in for shot rock. Does leave his own shooter in a good position to raise up onto that stone. Still not sure if that was the stone they were going after. Afraid I don't have any of the audio in my headset, so I can't hear what's being said at ice level. You can't always tell with the ice level mics what the players are saying anyway. Looks like there's just enough room to get to the inside of that stone. Perhaps pass it by the blue stone that's shot rock on the corner of the button now. Little hesitation from the hack end. It can't look great from the hack, but it's probably there. This Japanese team, one of the little quirks of a draw like this, you play 5 preliminary round games, you don't know for sure who you're going to play or how they're going to match up until it's all said and done. When the preliminary round is done, they will have played every other one of the playoff teams. So you can't say they had a soft schedule to make the playoffs. They're 2-1 against the playoff teams right now. And they lost in the opening round, their opening game against Colton Flash, and everybody who's played Colton Flash has got a loss. Comes down, makes the slight tap on the red stone, rolls his shooter to the top of the 8-foot, dead in behind cover. Laycock and Meacham taking a look at this. You could slash the red onto the blue. You're going to lose both of the reds. You'll only be sitting one. So for now, what they're looking at doing is come down, move that red stone back about a rock's width. Leave your shooter in, again, the position where you could slash it into the blue later on. Something very similar to what he had on his first one here. Usher's picking this one up as much for line as for weight. Wants to stay close to the nose on that red stone. Doesn't want to roll underneath. However, needed to bump it, and that's not quite going to get there. Continues to be the Japanese sitting one on the corner of the button. Team sitting second and third, but right now a little difficulty just trying to get to shot rock. Looks like they're opting to come down to the face of the stone that was just delivered. Don't think you want to move that. Right now, Steve Laycock would probably need 2 shots to be able to promote anything onto the blue one. If you break up that freeze on the 2 reds, that essentially makes the first one of those 2 shots for him. First stone of this opening end for the Japanese skip, sitting one. draw down on top of the 5 stones that are just about touching the 4-foot. Just trying to take away Steve Laycock's angle, and actually maybe not even trying to get into the rings. This is a straight guard. And now Steve Laycock trying to find a way to get that shot stone out of there. I think the one he's first pointing at is the blue slash in. That's a little dangerous. Maybe that he's worried that that's what the Japanese are going to play. So looking, I think, like he's trying to make a play on the stone that was just thrown, drive it onto the red guard, and perhaps catch the blue corner on the other side, because I think perhaps they feel that's the dangerous stone. If they just leave it where it is, the Japanese skip on his last one might decide to run that in, and probably doesn't have a lot of risk there. He might even be able to sit 2 or 3 when he's done. Going to be thin if he hits it at all. It goes right by everything. Well, now to the Japanese team to decide if they want to take this on. There's not a lot of risk to it. Boy, he hit it absolutely perfect. So that you just rub the blue stone at the top of the 8-foot as you come by. You could be sitting 3. You'd be happy to just stuff it onto the red. Probably is enough to sit 2. I'm not sure what Steve Laycock would have left. The other option, you almost could just throw this away or throw a guard perhaps on your own. I don't see that Steve Laycock has got much. You'd sure hate to open up a shot for him to score. I don't know if he's got one right now. He's got something off the double run on the reds, so they're going to try to guard that, take it away. Steve Laycock, Sean Meacham standing at the back, no doubt trying to see what they might have left for angles here. Japan sitting 1. Second and third belonging to Laycock, but the problem he's going to have right now is how do you get that shot rocked out of the button area? He's left the guard. Does that change anything? Steve just taking a look to see if he's got anything off that. Might be possible now that he can't hurt himself playing this blue. He can only see a thin piece of this. So he might be playing blue onto the blue at the top of the 8 and then just jam it back on the shot stone to get one. Can't see enough of this blue stone to ever risk running it onto the second shot. So I think that's the call. Try to run the tight blue guard onto the stone at the top of the button, just nibbling, the top of the forefoot, just nibbling. Have it go back and kill the shot stone. It'll jam, it'll sit for second shot, but your stone on the left side of the button, as we look at it right now, would still be shot rock after that. High guard, and just going to rub, goes by everything. So it will be a steal of one for the Japanese team. They take a 1-0 lead over Steve Laycock. Laycock will keep last rock into the second inning.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? You can get a grant to help. We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. It's easy. SaskTel has already given away tens of thousands of dollars. There have been lots of great ideas, including kids giving cookies to others, a group set up to welcome newcomers to their school, random acts of kindness, and so much more. The ideas and opportunities are endless. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Second end action underway here, and if that first end was any indication, there's going to be a lot of rocks in the forefoot this game. And with all the rocks that were touching the forefoot there, it ends up with a score of 1. Yanagisawa with a single, a steal against Steve Laycock. Laycock keeps last rock here into the second end. Already, maybe both teams here deciding to play a little bit more open in this second end. First stone brought into the rings, and now Steve Laycock asking Braden Stewart to make it and roll to the corner. Well, he's overcurling what they had in mind. He might not make contact with this at all. Does clip it. Does get the stone out of the rings and past the back line, so both rocks out of play. Japanese lead is Satoshi Kazumi. They decided to come in again. However, Steve Laycock, knowing he's only got 2 chances to play a free guard, played 1 hit in the first end, or the second end, but he's going to throw the corner guard with the second one. On that first one would have been to hit and roll off the center line. Hope that the Japanese knows it again and you'd have the play off the center at least, but even without making that, he feels it's important to get that corner guard. Probably would have liked it a little tighter than that. with the rock already on the corner of the button. Japan looking to protect that stone a little bit. Still could come into the house to protect it. I don't know if he wants this guard very long. And we'll bring it right into the top of the 8-foot. Steve Laycock looking now for the straight back double. Talk a little bit about the men's playoff situation at the start of the game. I should go into some detail on the women's side. I did mention 4 games on the ice tonight, and all 4 have playoff implications. On the women's side, 12 teams playing for 6 playoff spots. Gunji Gim and Clancy Grandy, both at 4-0 coming into play tonight, have secured themselves spots in the playoffs. Silvana Tiranzoni and Nancy Martin both done at 4-1. Those 2 teams will be in the playoffs as well. Chelsea Carey, Jennifer Jones, both at 2-2, and both are on the ice tonight. If both of those 2 teams win, the 6 teams I just mentioned are your playoff teams. The seedings will be determined by their draw shot scores. However, if either or both Carey and Jones fall tonight to 2 and 3, that brings the 3 lost teams back into play, and there are all kinds of combinations depending on the draw to the button scores. A number of teams, 4 teams I think already sitting at 2 and 3, waiting to see whether or not they might be in based on the tiebreaker scores. So I won't hold it against you if you're flipping back and forth between games tonight, because they all matter. Chris Heichert being asked to come down, play the freeze to the shot stone, back edge of the 4-foot. Just nudge off that stone a little bit. The red stone sitting for shot rock. Japanese sitting second and third, both of their stones behind the tee line though. Opting to make the play on shot stone, and I think that was a request that came from the hack end, wanted that little bit less ice, so maybe wanting to throw a little bit more normal weight here. Makes the hit, stays right there. Another chance for the freeze, perhaps even a freeze tap, leave a bit of a pocket back there. This time Sean Meacham, and again, pressure's on this for the line. Would like to stay on the center line side of this rock if anything, and it's going to curl just a little bit past, nudges it a few inches. Leaves enough room to blast it out the side. He will lose his own rock with it, but when they're angled like they are, that little bit of drag, I think it should go by the back one. Gucci makes contact, but very thin, not enough to get it out, and the shooter carries through and kills his own stone at the back of the 12 foot. It is Yanagisawa sitting 2 right now, but does leave that stone on the edge of the 12 foot. Now it'll be a question of whether or not Steve Laycock has enough time to group these 2 blue stones and perhaps get a double opportunity for his last one to score 2. John Meacham going to make the first attempt, try to hit the wide stone, roll towards the one at the back of 4 foot. Makes the hit. Does roll his shooter over to the back of the 4. Yanagisawa sitting 1 right now. Laycock has second and third. Tough to make a play on this stone without leaving a double. Gonna look for a little bit of a broom side roll, try to even up the 2 blue stones when he's done. Get a little bit more distance between them as well. Already gone to the offside sweep, try to get a little extra curl. Gonna make contact, but the roll goes just a little bit too far. All the way out of the ring, so that red stone on the left-hand side of the sheet as we look at it from the hack end. His second shot. Laycock now just needs to make a play on shot rock to sit his 2. Only the 3 stones left to come here in the second end. A really good chance for Steve Laycock to pick up his deuce and take the lead. Hasn't left it. Makes the hit, stays right there. Not sure with the indication there if Yanagisawa is looking at playing the double. It's a really flat double. Could just play the hit and roll behind the corner guard. It is a flat double, but if he can get to the second stone, he only has to move it about 10 inches to the other rings. That weight, I think maybe he's trying to get the double. Very thick on the first one. Makes the hit. Get a roll towards that stone, but doesn't get all the way up to it. However, has mostly buried his shooter, so it does make the last shot here for Steve Laycock a little trickier. Now, from what we've seen all week, I have to admit I haven't seen a lot of games on the outside sheets. This game is on one of the outside sheets. I don't know if it curls quite as much as the middle sheets, but there has been enough curl to make these shots all week. When Steve got down to the max, realizing he can't see quite as much as he thought, so they're going to take a little bit more ice, throw a little bit less weight. Steve doesn't have to move this rock very far either. If he moves it 2 feet, doesn't have to get all the way out of the 12 foot to count his second shot. He's got a long ways to roll. He needs to get to about half of that. The brush hard at about the halfway point. He's by the guard. Just cleaning it in now. He'll get to the nose. Taps it through. Steve Laycock picks up his deuce here in the second end. He'll take a 2-1 lead into the third. It'll be Yanagisawa with last rock when we come back. Third end just underway. Brady Stewart, the lead for the Laycock team. Looking for the tight center guard. Rusher's just going for a casual stroll with it and hoping it stops in time. It does. We've had quite the contrast in the opening 2 ends. Almost every rock in play in the first end. Only 2 rocks in the rings at the completion of the second end. Starting out here like we might see a few rocks in play. We've got a center guard, now the attempt at the corner guard. Satoshi Kazumi, pardon me. Indication from Steve Laycock that they're looking to throw the second guard dead in line to the one that they have just outside the rings. A little bit now just to try to get a little extra curl. It's going to get up to the center line. Won't be in line with the other stone. Yanagisawa going to ignore that, go towards his corner. That stone full 12 foot, grabs a nibble of the 8 foot, dead in behind cover on the corner guard. Still just the 5th rock of the end about to come here. Steve Laycock not able to make a play on the guard. Can't really get at shot rock, so he's asking Chris Heichert to come around the 2 center guards. thing from the rushers so far. He's got room. Would have liked this stone to stop in front of the tee line, but it will slide to the back 4 foot. It is buried. And lining up the double peel now. I'd like to get the center line clear. Over curls that just a little bit, hits it just off nose. The other side drives it by everything and leaves his shooter for a center guard. That's the bigger problem. Steve Laycock going to try to capitalize on that right away and bring another one around those 2 center guards. A little deep on his first attempt. Looks like maybe just a little stronger still on the second one. Comes down, nudges off that stone. Sits 2 for now. Leaves a bit of a pocket back there, and there is still the issue that the center's getting plugged up. Yamamoto in the hacks. Just over curled ever so slightly on his last attempt. Big weight once again. And this time he's going to hit a little too far to the outside, drives it by the red stone closest to the rings. Shooter rolls out of play as well. Those 2 stones both being behind the tee line. Steve Laycock perhaps feeling if they throw another guard eventually, Yanagisawa is going to play a draw himself, so they're going to try to get there first, sit in the pocket. Can get this one in front of the other 2 red stones, it becomes very difficult to remove, but they're going to be heavy again. Now trying to chip off of it so they don't leave some kind of double or perhaps a triple. I think maybe they did. Double's there for sure. Big weight coming once again. Pressure was on it right out of his hand. Has to get about half to jump across. He's going to over curl. Gets the nose hit. Does sit for shot rock right now. That leaves second and third belonging to Laycock behind cover. And shot stone is wide open. Chance to make the hit and roll over behind cover as well. And he would be at the tee line, probably not behind it anymore. Sean Meacham with the attempt. And the in-turn. And from the brush early now, trying to get some extra curl. Gonna hit stay right there. On the upside for Laycock, the double is getting very thin. It gets a little tougher to make it now. So just looking to play the hit and roll, and they'll play the in-turn as well. So changes the shot here for Yamaguchi. He had the big weight on the out turn on his first attempt, trying to jump across, get the double. He's going to have to bring his weight down and play a more delicate hit, try to get the roll with his second attempt. And once again, we see the offside sweep, trying to get a little bit extra curl. This outside in off the boards has not had the movement that either team has been expecting, and he'll make the hit, jam it on one at the back of the 8 foot. Does not remove the second red stone, so it is still Laycock sitting 2. I think the shooter hung around for a nibble at the back of the 12 foot. Skip stones left to come. That might not matter, that little biter back there. He's still got 2 red stones he would have to deal with, and Steve's going to try to make it 3 right here. One more attempt to come around that tight red guard and see if they can get something in front of the tee line. On it when he let go, but it wasn't a hard sweep yet. Now about halfway down, they're picking it up a little bit more. Still needs to curl. A lot of room by that stone at the top of the house. Now at the end, sweeping just to try to bury as much as they could. From the hack, I think the indication was he can see just about half, maybe a little bit more. Got a couple of choices here. You could come down to that and just try to move it back, leave a pocket behind your shooter. Sit 1. Make that 1 hard for Steve Laycock to get out, and you might have your chance for 2. If you thought you could see enough of it to play the double and stay, you might do that, but it doesn't look like they can see enough, and certainly we've seen with both teams this in-turn path coming this direction. They haven't been able to get the finish on the hits to get close to the nose. So looking to come down, tap the shot stone, only needs to move it about a foot. He'd leave a pocket behind his shooter. The key here is he's got to get close to the nose. If he rolls over at all, Steve Laycock will have room to make the hit and roll under cover. Sweeping for some curl now. This has got a little bit better line coming by than Steve's rock did. Going to make the tap. Shooter stays right there on the corner of the button. A little surprised they swept the tap back as far as they did. Right now, if Steve taps it right back to frozen on the one that was just tapped back, I think Steve would be sitting 2. Does have to be a little bit careful. If you hit this again on the broom side at all, you'll put it onto second shot, and your shooter, when it rolls over, will be accessible. You could see Yanagisawa could have an open hit for 2 here. Laycock with his final stone here in the third end. Leading by one, facing one. Looking to tap this back somehow and prevent the Yanagisawa team from having a chance for two. He's going to stay a little bit on the outside though, and he does drive it onto the second shot stone at the back of the forefoot and actually leaves Yanagisawa sitting one right now. Not sure I see any way for him to draw for the second one. I guess there's the wide out turn, but it's touchy. And he does have room to make this hit. Even if he stays a little bit broomside and puts it onto his own blue stone, the blue is going back onto the red. As long as he's close to the nose here, he should be able to pick up his deuce. Maybe not quite as much of a cluster in the house as we had in the first end, but still a lot of rocks in the rings. Just the one counter right now on the corner of the button. Yanagisawa with his last one looking to make a second point for himself. Good job by the brushers. Looks like he's got a nice shot here. Makes the hit, and then just for good measure, rolls this one under cover. Picks up his 2 points. He'll take a 3-2 lead into the fourth end. Laycock will have last rock when we come back.
Imagine a place with endless possibilities. Imagine a place where people come together to build families, businesses, and communities. Imagine a place where small-town values and progressive qualities are in perfect harmony. Imagine a place rich with so much vitality. Imagine your future in Martensville.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Fourth end just about to get underway. First stone being called for short of the rings. This game being played on sheet 1 here in Martensville Trailing Club. The other men's game on the ice tonight all the way over on sheet 4, so if these two teams happen to be peeking over just to see how their playoff positioning is affected by that other game, that makes it really tough when you got to look across 2 other sheets. Tell you worry about your own game first, but we all know they peak. Maybe Steve peeking right there. One of the things about it though, if you want to keep your team from peaking, if you're the skip, keep asking them to put rocks in play, and they really don't have time to take a look. Center guard thrown up, and we're going to see another corner guard attempt right away. Yanagisawa put the broom down and didn't really see any kind of indication for us his team knows each other pretty well. 3 of them played together last year. So I'm sure they all know whether they're playing a second guard already here in the 4th end or coming around. Looks like this is the come around. Brings it right to the top of the 4-foot, dead in behind cover. Stewart being asked to follow that down. Sit in front of it somewhere on the angle, so they've got a chance to move it later on. Off and on this one early. Comes down, sits on the corner, nudges it just a couple of inches. That's in a good spot. Yamamoto now being asked to follow that down. Indication from the skip is they got a lot of line here. Rushers want to go though, so they're sweeping from the side to get a little extra curl. They'll bring that stone into the top 12 foot, but not able to make the freeze. Center's starting to get a little congested, so Steve Laycock now looking for some rocks to move. Chris Heichert looking for the big weight. Try to move a couple of these stones off the center line at least. Catches one, onto the second, drives it onto the red stone at the top. That goes on to shot rock, and the dust clears. It's Laycock sitting one. That's the only stone near the center line anymore, just biting the button. Yanagisawa does sit second and third, but they're over towards the corner. Hit, maybe roll to just to the other side center. Makes the hit, rolls to the center line. Might be a double there. It's flat for now. Steve Laycock more interested in getting a rock into a position where they can't get it out. So playing the corner freeze. Not even critical to get second shot here. It's just important to get corner frozen on the center line side, and then there's no way for Yanagisawa to get it out. He's just going to over curl that. Might be an opportunity to pick it out if they want to take it on. They would have to flirt with the guard a little bit. Sitting two, there is a double available for sure now. talking about perhaps just straight peeling the corner guard. And that seems to be what they've settled on. This will be a straight peel, and leave the shooter as well. Needs to hit this over the top. Doesn't really want to make contact with that blue stone at the top of the 12-foot at all. Well, maybe he thinks he does. Clips it, puts it onto the red, and nudges off the blue. Well, it leaves the red stone where it can be hit anyway. And no guards left in play. And looking at how it's his best chance here to put a rock in a position where there won't be a double. That if they tap that blue stone, at least the rock's good back, they could leave a pocket. The shooter would be able to be removed from play, would jam on something. A little surprised when they were sweeping that they weren't looking for the extra curl. That was on the red one all the way down. And tapping it like that, it's left the double opportunity. Nose hit. Yamaguchi just confirming the turn. It is the in turn you're looking for. He's going to be throwing it hard. Up just a little bit for nose. He will hit a little off the nose, jam it back, and the shooter rolls between the other two blue stones and all the way out of play. It is the Laycock stone, the back of the 4-foot sitting shot rock right now. It is open though. Steve thinking if we can get the corner freeze on the second shot stone, there won't be a double, and your corner frozen, any attempt to remove the top red stone would just rattle between the two blues and stay in play.
It's good. Right center. We're there. There now. Top four. That's good. Right three. Right perfect. Right perfect weight.
Got a nice line coming here as long as he doesn't bounce off. Will bounce just a little bit too far. Leaves room for the double. Tough to keep your shooter here because you're going to have to make the double and run the first one back. You've got to catch the second one fairly thin, or it's going to go across into that blue one beside it. Might look to hit this one fairly solid, knowing that they're going to jam the second one. And then just try to roll your shooter to the center line. double is there. You probably lose the stone of your own that's on the side of the 8-foot, because this top red one, when it comes off the other red, is probably going to catch the back end of that stone. With the weight he's throwing, they probably all fly if he makes it. Needs to get just to the inside of this stone. He's close. Well, he catches the red stone at the back, but too solid on the side blue one. It stays right there at the edge of the 4-foot. It does open up a little bit more room for Yanagisawa on the next one. If he's got another chance at a double, he should be able to get everything clear. Steve Laycock knows that. He's not just wanting to straight hit that. Well, he's going to play the hit and try for the long roll and see if he can avoid leaving a double. Has to bite the 8-foot. Make sure he's sitting 2. This is the kind of shot where you hit it right on the nose. It's a thin double. If you actually roll over about 1.5 feet, you probably make it easier. Or you can roll about 4 feet and maybe not leave a double at all. Well, the brush picked this one up right away. Looked like he maybe was just a little bit inside. They're going to have to go just to hold the shooter here. Makes contact. It's going to be a little thin. The shooter will come across, touches his own stone and spins. And spins too far. That's going to be 4th shot. Shot stone still belongs to Laycock. Stone at the back of the 8, but it is fully exposed. Yanagisawa can make it go away. He'll be sitting 2. Steve Laycock will be forced to try to get his single. He can stay in the house somewhere. He can make him face 3. Bringing the weight down on this attempt, needing to stay. Wanting to stay anyway. Picking up the brush now. Just cleaning from the hog line in, he'll make the hit. Roll a couple of inches to the outside, stay for maybe a sliver bite of the 4-foot. Steve Laycock has a decision to make. Do you play the hit on that or just throw the draw? He's going to follow it down, play that same hit. Yanagisawa had rolled maybe 6 inches further. This could have been a tougher choice for Steve Laycock. He might not have been able to see all of it. So final stone for Steve Laycock, trailing 3-2, facing 3. Yanagisawa counters, chance to hit and stay for a single. She's just cleaning this in. We'll make the hit, roll into the 4-foot, pick up his single point, and we're all tied up at 3 after 4 ends of play. Yanagisawa will have last rock in the 5th.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? You can get a grant to help. We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. It's easy. SaskTel has already given away tens of thousands of dollars. There have been lots of great ideas, including kids giving cookies to others, a group set up to welcome newcomers to their school, random acts of kindness, and so much more. The ideas and opportunities are endless. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster. Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Sean Joyce with you here live from the Curling Stadium Martensville International. Sunday night action, the final round of the preliminary on both the men's and women's side. And all 4 games on the ice with playoff implications. All 4 games available for you for viewing on the Curling Stadium YouTube channel. Can't say I'd blame you if you're channel surfing a little bit here tonight. All 4 of these games have an impact on the playoff races, and kind of keeping an eye on the scoreboards myself. They're all close games to the halfway point. Center guard thrown up to start this end, and now the come around to the top of the forefoot. No attempt for the corner guard here. And this comes down to what you see with a lot of the top teams, top men's teams in the world, and the women for that matter, trying to control last rock and the even ends. So Yanagisawa probably in the back of his mind thinking he would not mind a blank end here. Laycock asking Braden Stewart to make the straight back tap on the guard, not throwing a big weight at it here, wants to make sure that he keeps his own stone in play. Braden Stewart with a straight back run back, now sitting 1 behind cover. Koizumi being asked to come down and freeze to that shot stone. Well, an attempt at the audible there when they felt like they were not going to get to the face of it, trying to come around, just rubs off. Pushes that stone a little bit farther in behind cover. The shooter does come to rest for shot rock. Steve Laycock, knowing that Yanagisawa would love to blank this end, going to throw a second center guard right now, trying to keep the 3 red stones in a line on that center line. Overcurls a little bit, may have given enough room for the Yamamoto, now the second throwing, to get to the tighter center guard, maybe make a double on the Reds, the tight center guard as well as the one at the top of the foot. A little bit of risk to it. If you ever hit it a little bit thin, you could drive it right onto your own shot rock. Some discussion now about playing the double peel. I think the only reason they didn't look at that initially, that higher guard isn't in line with the other two, and being so long on its own, it's not really protecting much. The tighter guard is certainly the more dangerous one. I think, and I'm not sure, of course we don't have mics on the players, and in this particular team's case, even if we did, I still wouldn't be able to tell you what they're saying, but I think what they're looking at is the hack end would feel more comfortable if they could peel this guard from the right-hand side as they look at it from the hacks, and we just can't get to that side. Probably a little worried that by playing it this way, they run the risk of running it onto their own stone at the side of the forefoot. Could always just play this tight, and if you happen to over curl and clip the long guard, well, you've still peeled the guard. Got the brush now. Close. Got one, catches the stone at the top of the 8-foot, rolls the shooter off the center line. That is a great shot, exactly what they had in mind. Just the one stone in the rings now, shot stone belonging to Yanagisawa, but Steve Laycock can make a play on it right here and try to roll undercover. You can see all of it. Needs a little bit of finish if he's going to get the roll to the inside. Just makes the nose hit, stays right there. The opportunity now for, and I've lost track, I think it's second stone still, the Yamamoto. Boy, if you could ever get big finish past the guard, you'd love to roll all the way over behind your own. It's just, in this game, even with the soft weight, we haven't seen anything finish hard enough to think you could get that big of a roll. And there, once again, not a lot of room by the guard, and really didn't do anything after it got past the guard, just continued to run straight in. Makes the hit, rolls to the corner. Sean Meacham looking to make a play on this stone. Nagasawa will be happy to hit these stones out here for a while. Just exchange hits. Perhaps have the opportunity for the blank. Steve Laycock knows that, but not really much you can do about it right now without taking on a lot of risk. Sean Meacham once again will look to hit and stay out on that wing again. Going to get the hit. This is going to roll in towards the middle a little bit. Back to the edge of the forefoot. Just behind the tee line. Getting to the point in the end now where I think Riku would be just as happy to keep rolling to the corner and get his chance for the blank. Setting up the sweep from the offside now, trying to get a little extra curl. Needs to hold the shooter somewhere in the rings. And again, from that hog line in, running very straight this evening. Makes the hit, but the shooter rolls out of play. Steve Laycock just trying to figure out where is the best place to put this rock. That guard is fairly high. However, we're seeing a little less finish tonight on these out-turn hits. So if he can get even half around, any attempt to go after it's going to be a little bit more dicey, just because you've seen a number of rocks go really straight from the hog line in. Steve Laycock with his first here in the fifth end, tied up. Looking to come around. They had to wait on that a little bit for the line. And he was trying to keep that fairly high in the house because with that long guard, he didn't want to leave enough room for Yanagisawa to come around and still get it out. That's probably about the best he could do with it. And certainly if you've got Yanagisawa drawing here, Steve Laycock happy with this. This is his chance to perhaps get the force. Still looks to be some good finish on the draws, judging from Steve's rock there. Came by the guard by plenty of room, got dead in behind. But the hits on that turn have ran a little straight from the hog line in so far in this game. Nothing out of the brushers early. And they're standing straight up. That's never a good sign. He's got a lot of room by the guard. Sweeping from the offside now, trying to get some curl, maybe get a little piece of this buried. Well, they had to wait for that for a long time to get some curl. In the end, he's got maybe a quarter of it under cover. As straight as the hits have gone here, it does make this a little bit more of a delicate shot for Steve Laycock. His first thought was to play it quieter. I think the indication came from the hack end. You can see a lot of that rock. Going to tighten up the ice and just try to pick it out. Still not likely throwing a lot of weight here. He might be able to hang on to the edge of the 12-foot to sit two. Steve did have an attempt in the first end where he was looking to play an angle run-in on this side, and he actually slid by everything. Has to be a little bit concerned with how straight this is going to run. Concerned enough that he's going to go down and talk about it some more. Going to take just a shade more ice. You got to think now he's going to bring the weight down, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of hack weight. Something the brushers can control and perhaps have a little bit more impact on if they need to try to carve it over for a little extra curl. Here for Steve Laycock without last rock. Facing one, if he could hit and stay somewhere in the rings, definitely get a chance for the force. Even if he just removes this blue stone, might get the chance to force the single. Just gets it out of the ring, loses the shooter. Yanagisawa not even going to look at any possible kind of run-in, angle run-in. Simply play the draw, take your single. Final stone here of the fifth end of a tie game. Needs a bite of the 8-foot to pick up his single point, retake the lead. Brushers picked this up right out of his hand. They were on it right out of his hand probably for weight. Now they've both switched to the side trying to get it to curl a little bit, get into that 8-foot area a little bit earlier. Well, he's not going to get a big piece of the 8-foot. He thought with that ice he might have made 4-foot. But he's got outstanding weight, puts it right on the tee line, gets his single point. He'll retake the 1-point lead over Steve Laycock. Laycock with last rock, and we come back for the 6th.
Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel, because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. You are what matters most. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be a part of your community. From the dance competitions, to the rodeos, to helping discover and embrace technology across the province, we're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Every year, SaskTel contributes nearly $3 million to approximately 1,000 nonprofits, charities, associations, and events in more than 200 communities across Saskatchewan. So keep dancing, keep laughing, keep discovering, and we'll be there to help, to lend a hand, and join in the fun. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will, because we are dedicated to our home. To apply for sponsorship, visit SaskTel.com/sponsorships.
Sixth end underway here for Martensville. First stone was brought into the back of the, just nibbling the back of the 4-foot. Corner guard here now thrown by Braden Stewart. Have to expect with that first one certainly sliding to the back of the 8-foot that they're going to look to bring this one in as well. Might have, if they'd have put it on the top of the button, thought about guarding it here. You're not going to guard a stone that far back. This one comes to rest, just biting the top of the button. Now Steve Laycock will look to use the corner guard. Fluttering by the guard. The sweepers have backed off on this. Does come to rest just in front of the tee line. You can see that's pretty much fully buried. Skipper did ask him if they wanted to follow that down or play the center guard, but I think the standard play here is you keep the play towards the middle. Force Steve Laycock to deal with those rocks, and hope you've got a chance to play a double later on to get rid of that one. Looking for that last little bit of curl to try to cover up the shot stone. He'll take a little piece of it away, but left more exposed than they would have liked. Steve Laycock now asking Chris Hiker to tap that back. Start to create a wall of blue stones at the back of the 8-foot. If he could just tap this even, leave his shooter in a very good spot. Well, I'm not sure what happened to that stone. I do think he rubbed the guard on the way by, but he never should have been anywhere near that side of the guard. It works out okay. He gets a second one in kind of behind the corner guard, and Yanagisawa is going to have to make a peel attempt on the corner. Those stones in the corner starting to pile up on him. He wants to have a chance to play that double later on. I will admit, as that stone was coming in, I was taking a peek across the ice, and it is Alex Schwaller just picking up 2 in the 6th end. He has a 4-1 lead in his game after 6 ends of play. If Schwaller wins, he, I believe, finishes in as the 2nd seed, and these two teams would then be guaranteed, I believe, again based on the tiebreakers, to be playing in the quarterfinal tomorrow morning. Makes the peel, rolls the shooter all the way across and out of play. Now for Steve Laycock, there's kind of a double available on those reds, but there's a chance that the top red, when you make the double attempt, could come across and make contact with the blue at the back of the 4-foot. Also, if you make this little tap back, that's another rock back there that the double attempt might jam on. So we'll ignore those two on the corner right now. Play the same tap again. Got better line this time. Makes the tap, pushes it back. I think it rubbed again off that other blue stone, and now it would be really tough to play the double on the 2 reds and expect it to go between those 2 blues. It might. If it jams on either one of them, you could leave 2 reds in the rings. Perhaps playing to just the hit and roll, so he would jam the first one and try to roll under cover. Steve Laycock just sitting one right now, that stone at the top of the 4-foot, but he's got a few rocks in position that it's very difficult for this Japanese foursome to make a play on. And the longer he can keep some rocks around, the better his chance for a bigger count here. So looking to make the hit and roll in towards the middle. They know that that top one was going to jam and they were going to leave it there. Have to think that rolled farther than they had in mind, because now I think a nose hit on the stone that was just rolled over probably makes the triple on all three blues. Not saying you have to play it right now. It's probably always going to be there, even if you freeze to it now. Hit your own later on and make it that way too. Chance here for Sean Meacham to put on all kinds of pressure. Really, you don't even have to kill those two stones. You could come down, just tap them. You move them both about 6 inches. You're still sitting 3. You probably have a pocket back there. Steve Laycock sitting 1 right now, but already has a lot of pressure on Yanagisawa, and a chance here for Sean Meacham if he can come down, sit right on the corner of that blue stone. Can be sitting 2, and no easy shot to get either one of the shot 2 stones out. This is going to come up just a little bit short. Well, is that the get out of jail free card? Few options now. Laycock still just sitting 1. He can get to shot rock and pass it by the 2 at the back. Probably jams on the stone at the back 8. Just biting the back 8. Looked also at hitting the stone that from the overhead view. That one hit the right hand side one and roll into the 4-foot. And again, even if you roll right into your own 2 stones, you're still going to be shot rock. Front end looking at, do you hit the stone that was just delivered and roll over? The problem with that is you're still only going to be sitting 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. And if you've left a shot to get at the back one, then it's still a chance to hit and sit 3. Did have the opportunity to do the first game that this team played, and I believe, if I remember correctly, they are coached by Bob Ursel. They do have a timeout available. I wouldn't be shocked to see them call it here. This is a big shot. So I think they've opted for the hit and roll off the stone on would be the left side of the house as the shooter's throwing it, the right side as we look from the overhead. The question is just how far do you want to roll here? I think you have to try to roll at least behind the red stone. If you stay just in behind the blue guard, you've left Steve Laycock enough angle to make the red-blue run, that red that is currently shot stone. You could roll all the way over onto your own stones at the back of the 4-foot and stay frozen in front of them. You'd be shot rock, and I think Steve Laycock might need 2 shots to get it out. This is really curling on him, though. Going to be a little thin, comes across, will come into those two blue stones, but moves one of them. Does leave the other one frozen though. It's not a bad result. Laycock's first indication is they try to run their shot stone straight back. Probably not big weight. I don't think you're ever getting that blue stone to move very far. Just looking to get shot rock here and leave your shooter in a position where you might be able to use it again. You do need to, if you're ever going to get that stone out of the 4-foot, you do need to move the back one. Need to move it very far, but you need to move it, give yourself a little bit of room to clear it on any attempt that you make to move that, what is currently shot rock. It'll be second if you can make this one. Final discussion in the hack now. Sean Meacham, right turn tap. This needs to curl. Trying, needs to curl just a little bit more. Makes the tap and just rubs off that stone. Well, the first look, they were looking at what they could run back in, but I like that last call, talking about coming around on the in-turn side and freeze in front of that with it sliding behind the tee line. Great shot if you can make it. Not curling quite as much tonight as we have seen through the week, but probably still there. You can run the double on the two reds over the top, but you're going to lose one of your own, and shooter probably rolls over and nudges up that other red stone. So they've settled on the draw, it looks like. I do think this is the best result if you can make it. And most of this week, this shot was very makeable. If you lock this right on the red one, you've probably got the pinhole covered. Laycock might need 2 shots just to get 1 point. Red stone at the back of the 4-foot is over buried now for most of the week. That wouldn't have mattered. You could still get to the nose of that. Tonight it has looked just that little bit straighter. Probably still there. He's going to have to flirt with the guard a little bit tighter than he would have through the rest of the week. Line looks close coming in. Front one. Now, will it finish enough? Gets to the corner of it, enough to get shot rock. And that right there illustrates the difference from the rest of the week. If you look at where the guard's located, that doesn't even get dead in behind cover. And all week long, if you came that tight by a guard, it would be out the other side. So a little bit of angle left there. Gives Steve Laycock a chance to play his own stone up onto that rock that was just delivered. Try to nudge it back and leave himself sitting 2. First stone of the 6th end for Steve Laycock with last rock, trailing by 1. After that other brusher so far, once again, they got to wait for that line. Now trying to actually sweep for a little extra curl. He's getting close. Boy, look at it move there at the end. He makes the tap. They actually may have over curled that. Gets a little rub on the blue, but not enough to move it. I think it might be Steve Laycock sitting 1, but hard to tell. And if Yanagisawa made another draw in there, I don't know how you ever get... If you can get to the inside of his own stone here, I don't know how you get it out. I don't think you can. Really hard to say who's got shot rock right now. Might be Laycock, I think. Keep pointing at the red stone at the top of the 8-foot. I don't think they could be really worried about making a play on that. They might be pointing at it because they're worried that's what Steve's going to play, so maybe they're thinking about guarding that side. Koizumi indicating perhaps they throw the guard, thinking that Steve might not be able to get to the inside of that blue stone to get his second point. On the in-turn draw, the same one they just played on their first stone. If you were sure you could get to the inside of your own stone, that's the shot. Come around that center guard and get to the pocket, you've stolen one, but you saw in his last attempt, they just really didn't get the finish. Might not be there to get to the inside of that stone. If you leave it on the outside of the stone, it's just going to leave an extra rock for Steve Laycock to play the angle tap into, and he can get as many as 3. No, we are going to get the timeout called. Bob Ursel making his way to ice level. 8-end games here, no time clocks actually in play, but they do still have the ability to call timeouts for those teams that have coaches here. The coach can make their way out to the ice. And a number of international teams in the field, most of them travel with coaches. You can tell Bob wasn't necessarily expecting to come out in the ice in this game. He's already in his beach attire. It has been a warm one here in Martensville today. problem I can see for this team is what they're facing. Steve's got 2 reds that he could run in on an angle for 3. Hard to guard both of them with 1 rock. You could do it. But they saw the draw attempt on the first one and really didn't get the finish they wanted. And if they try that shot and don't get to the inside of their blue, they could actually make the angle run a little easier. Yanagisawa seems to keep coming back to that draw. He was really close on his last one, just wouldn't finish. Close to making it on his first one, still the shot he likes. I still say if he can get to the inside of that stone, there's no way for Steve Laycock to get it out. Question will be whether or not he can get to the inside. Now, worth noting that when Steve tapped that last one up, he did rub the blue stone ever so slightly, so he's moved it over a little bit more into the open. If they can get the same line on this one that they got on the first one, they will be ever so slightly to the inside of that stone, and that'll be enough that you shouldn't be able to remove it from the 2 angle raises that he's got available. Busher's picked this one up fairly early, now waiting for the curl. Starting to go now. Still got room by the front one. They got to go for weight though. Had to wait on this one a little bit to get some curl. Gets down to the nose of that blue, but not really to the inside. Certainly you'd have to think room for Steve to make an angle tap for 2. Now there is possibility that in doing that he's going to clip his own stone at the back of the 4-foot, so 3 might not be available, but certainly a chance for 2. And you know, it's possible when you play the angle slash red onto the 2 blues, that back one might drag enough to either miss the back one or hit it so thin that it just goes straight sideways into the other blue. 3 is still possible, and you don't have to whip this either. Two is certainly possible. 3 might be. Two would be enough to take the lead. 3 would put him into a great position playing the 7th. I believe Steve Laycock is sitting 1 right now. Last rock, 6th end, Steve Laycock. Playing the angle run, short angle run. Needs to move a couple of blue stones, could pick up 2 or perhaps 3. It's close, makes the hit, comes back, clips the 2 blue stones, moves them enough. It's going to be 3 points, Steve Laycock. A big 3-ender here in the 6th end, and he jumps out to a 6-4 lead going into the 7th end.
Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel, because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. You are what matters most. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be a part of your community. From the dance competitions, to the rodeos, to helping discover and embrace technology across the province, we're here with you and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Every year, SaskTel contributes nearly $3 million to approximately 1,000 nonprofits, charities, associations, and events in more than 200 communities across Saskatchewan. So keep dancing, keep laughing, keep discovering, and we'll be there to help, to lend a hand, and join in the fun. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will, because we are dedicated to our home. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships. We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster. Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Sean Joyce with you here live from the Playing Stadium, Martensville International. Seventh end of this game between Laycock and Yanagisawa. Big three-ender for Steve Laycock in the sixth to take a 2-point lead as we begin the seventh here. And just before we get too far into this end, I'll quickly update you on the scores around the ice tonight. The other men's game in play, and again, all of these games have an impact on the playoffs. Schwaller up 4-2 on Hartung as they're coming home. Schwaller with last rock in that game, and if Schwaller wins, I believe I've got everything figured out right on the tiebreakers. He would finish in second place at the second place seed. Bolton Flash, of course, guaranteed the top seed on the men's side. Mike McEwen would be the third seed, and the two teams in this game will be playing for fourth and fifth then in that case. And either way, they will be facing off each other again 9 o'clock tomorrow morning in what would be a quarterfinal. On the women's side, Jennifer Jones at 2-2 needs a win to stay alive. She's up 5-1 over the Grandy team on her sheet. Grandy does have last rock as they play the seventh end there. And the Koreans, Yunjin Kim has a 5-3 lead over Chelsea Carey as they play the seventh. Carey has last rock there. Carey also 2-2. Gim is at 4-0 coming in. If she can win that game, would go to a perfect 5-0. And Fancy Grandy also 4-0 coming into this draw. But looking like she's going to fall to defeat. That would leave Gim as the number one seed. On the women's side, 6 teams out of 12 make the playoffs. So the top 2 set ahead to the semifinals. And if Carey loses that game, that brings the 3 lost teams back into it. And I think if I've got everything right in front of me, the 3 lost team with the best tiebreaker result is, I believe, Daniela Jentsch from Germany, and that might move her into the playoffs. Pretty exciting when you can play for 4 days, 14 draws, and then the 7th end of the final draw, you're still looking at a lot of combinations as to who can make the playoffs and where they might end up. Steve Laycock with a 2-point lead here as we play the 7th end. Putting some pressure on. He's got these 2 rocks middle of the house at the top. Now throws the guard. That is the 5th rock of the end, so can start peeling now. Yanagisawa needing to clean up that middle a little bit. The question is, how much weight do you throw? Well, looking at possibly even playing a freeze. And they're going to talk about how they want to approach this end, I think. looking now at maybe just straight peeling the guard and roll your shooter over, keep it for a second corner guard. Don't like rolling it that way. I think if you're going to play it, you want to roll to the same side that you've already got covered. Try to keep that out turn path available. Yamamoto very deliberate in the hacks. Looking to hit and roll over. This is going to over curl on them. Going to disturb those rocks in the middle. Left his shooter up as a center guard though too, and Steve Laycock now chance to make a play on the corner. Just looking for the straight peel on that. Doesn't want to disturb the rocks in the middle. The other side. First indication was to just try to draw around that corner, but might be an opportunity as well here to jiggle those two red stones, at least get them out from behind center, the positions where you might be able to remove them later on. Doesn't like having them overlapped with the center guard for sure. That broom location would indicate maybe they're throwing a little more weight than I thought. I thought he was just playing this as a tap. Just move the reds and roll over behind the corner. This looks more like an attempt to probably kill one of them. Jamstone probably doesn't leave the rings here. Had a number of attempts on this side run very straight, and there on this one just to hold the line. Makes the tap. Does just move them around a bit. Rolls his shooter over half in behind cover. So right now it is Laycock sitting 2. Third and fourth belonging to Yanagisawa, and no double available for Steve Laycock. Easiest one to hit, the one he just indicated. He's got to roll out a play to hit it. He can't risk hitting it on the center line side and jamming it. So Sean Meacham, the big weight on the in-turn, just looking to peel this rock out of the rings, roll his shooter out of play. A little bit of movement there. He does hang on to the edge of the 12-foot, but it is fourth shot for now. Onto the third's first stone here. Yamaguchi likes the corner freeze. I like that as an option. The other option I don't mind if you could do it, and it's a tough shot on this ice. If if you could ever split the rock, your own rock at the top of the 12-foot, put it a little further in behind the corner guard and roll the shooter in behind center. That's what they're looking at there now. Tough shot, though, with where that center guard is located. Great result, tough shot. Those are the two shots I see, really. It's the corner freeze and that split. The corner freeze is certainly the easier of the two. Talking about coming around the center guard just to the top of the 8-foot as well. Sits second shot, expecting Steve Laycock will make a play on the center guard. He may not. He may make a double on the two blues that are in the house. The split is probably the best result if you can make it. You'd open up shot rock. Your shooter probably rolls in enough to be second. You could bury two blue ones so that Steve can't get either one of them out. The problem is that the amount of curler is going towards the corner. You'd have to almost hit the center guard to make that split. Not even sure you could make it. Not sure it's there. You can't say they didn't discuss all the options in the end. I think they've settled on the corner freeze. And again, I think it is probably the easiest shot. We've seen enough draws to that corner. They know how to get there. Sit on the inside corner of that. They'd be sitting second shot right now. And second and fourth. Steve wouldn't be able to kill second shot without killing third shot as well. Rushers picked this one up fairly early. Still got room. Line looks okay as long as he doesn't bounce. Comes down, sits right on the corner, throws into half that stone. Boy, you couldn't have walked down and put that stone in a better position. Yanagisawa was a little bit worried that you made that. Laycock was going to play the angle red onto the blue. And he might. But if you kill everything on that side, that's just one red stone left, and the 4-foot starts to get pretty lonely. Sean Meacham will have some weight coming on this one. Pretty hard to keep any reds around off this one on that outside. He's just going to try to kill all three of these stones. Catches one, catches the other, and will push all three of them out of the rings. Split's an even better result if you can make it now. It's still a very difficult shot. I can see what Yanagisawa is looking at. If you make the come around, Steve probably makes a play on the guard. That might give you a better shot into the house. Gonna make a pass at this split. Rusher's picking this one up early. Needs to be fairly thin when he makes the split. Doesn't want to push the first stone very far. Just needs to nudge it a few inches to get it in behind cover. Boy, looks like he's got an ice line coming in. Makes the tap. Now, does he have enough weight? Spins the shooter in, probably half buried. The rock he first made contact with maybe rolls out past the guard. Probably didn't roll the shooter far enough. I think it's left to double. Did open up shot rock. Boy, if they could hit that just a little bit thinner, the shooter would have carried on a little bit more, carried a little bit more weight through, and the first stone wouldn't have popped out in the open. Could have had two buried. Double is there, still has to be made. It's a thin double. Half a rock will go over the top. Steve Laycock with a 2-point lead here as we play the 7th. Nothing out of the brushers out of his hand. Starting to pick up the brush now. Makes contact. They actually maybe over curled on that. They've seen so many rocks run straight down there, perhaps a little bit worried to jump the sweep. You can see Chris Heichert flipping the stone over. Maybe they think it picked something up. Regardless, leaves Japan sitting second shot. That shot stone belonging to Steve Laycock is wide open. And Yanagisawa just deciding which way he wants to roll here. He's got room to go either direction. Want to make sure you roll somewhere. You'd hate to leave another double opportunity that could get Steve Laycock out of this end. They might even be thinking about straight drawing here. I'm not sure what you get out of that. The second shot stone is available. Steve Laycock, if you bury one perfectly, Steve will just hit that, give you your two. But if you don't dead bury the draw and you give Steve a chance at a double or even just a hit to stay for second shot, you might not even get your chance for two. Well, they've tucked themselves into the draw. Have to get this buried. Don't want to leave another opportunity for Steve Laycock to perhaps make a double and get out of this end. You need your 2 points here. They're thinking about possibly 3, but you need a wide open miss from Steve Laycock to get even the opportunity for that. We have seen this side run a little bit straight, so the sweeper's waiting for it to curl. I want to bring this at the end if they can to try to get it buried. He's got a nice line coming in. Brings that stone in to bite top of the 8 foot. Does hit second and third. But did he get that in far enough? Does Steve Laycock have a chance to perhaps make a play on the second shot stone? Could he get second shot if he hits that right on the nose? Looking at also perhaps playing a draw himself. If he can find a way to sit 2, he can make it very difficult for Yanagisawa. So Steve looking at the draw himself. There is kind of a pocket between the red and the blue that sit shot in the 4 foot and second shot at the edge of the 8. If he can get somewhere in that pocket, it'd be really difficult to get the stone that Steve's about to deliver out of the house. Japan may not have a chance for any more than 1. Well, Yanagisawa's got to be happy he forced Steve into a draw, but Steve Laycock, if he can make this draw, will take away any chance that Yanagisawa could get multiple count here. Pressures were on this early. He's got room by the guard. Just needs to bring it in now for second shot. If he could sit on the corner of that blue is great. Nudges off a little bit. Now, does that leave room? If he's going to play it, he probably has to play the angle run in on the guard. I don't know that he can get there directly. But there is room to get that red out now, even if he has to take it out off the blue. Probably has to do it with the run through. I don't think you can make it with your shooter coming in direct. But the angle on the center guard back into the pocket of the 2 reds. Yeah, you'll probably lose your 1 blue, but it's for 2 anyway. Steve Laycock just maybe a hair strong on that last attempt. If he doesn't move the blue stone and rub off, I don't know if there's any way to get this rock out. Could just elect to hit the shot stone and take his single point, but then you've got to steal 8 and perhaps steal an extra as well. Perhaps looking at the run back on the red guard. Try to run it back into just kind of the crotch of the two reds in the house. Coming from that angle, the middle red would go past the blue, and he's hoping to spin the raised stone all the way across the house. Gotta say, this looks a lot tougher than the angle run into the blue. Of course, the angle run in the blue also gives you the possibility that if it doesn't go perfectly, you could at least score one. With this one, you're either scoring your two or you're probably shaking hands. Nothing out of the brushers yet. He's got to get close to the nose. He's going to drive this thin through the port. It's going to be a steal of two for Steve Laycock. With an 8-4 lead, that's enough to pick up the victory. Steve Laycock, the winner here in this final preliminary round matchup. Both of these teams do, however, move through to the championship playoffs tomorrow. And if I've got my tiebreaker scenarios figured out correctly, these teams will be back on the ice against each other at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Steve Laycock, by virtue of this win, will be the number 4 seed. And the Yanagisawa team will be the number 5 seed. It is Colton Flash, the number 1 seed, sitting back, waiting to find out who he's going to play in the semifinal. The other semifinal will face off Schwaller against McEwen. We will have all the action for you tomorrow on Curling Stadium. I want to thank you for being with us tonight. My name is Sean Joyce. We'll see you again tomorrow.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? You can get a grant to help. We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. It's easy. SaskTel has already given away tens of thousands of dollars. There have been lots of great ideas, including kids giving cookies to others, a group set up to welcome newcomers to their school, random acts of kindness, and so much more. The ideas and opportunities are endless. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.